Good morning. I'm Peter Hurst, the President and CEO of the Greater New England Minority Supplier Development Council, and I want to welcome you to our 2022 annual meeting. I'd like to start the annual meeting with a few words from the chairman of our board, Jim Linehan. Jim, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you, Peter, and good morning, everyone. As Peter just mentioned, my name is Jim Linehan. I'm Vice President of Financial Services at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, and I currently have the pleasure of serving as the board chair of GNEMSDC. So I'm not going to lie to you. I can't believe I'm still sitting here at home nearly 2 years later, talking to you all over a screen. But even in the strange new world, we can still collaborate, communicate, and share all the good work that's going on at GNEMSDC. And that's what we're going to do here today. When we all met for this event last year, the theme of our conversation was Together We'll Rise. We were coming off an incredibly difficult year, and the vaccines were just starting to get rolled out. There was some hope about our ability to get back to normal life, but it was pretty thin. And I got to tell you, if you watch the news as much as I do, you might not feel like much has changed. But we really are in much better shape now. And with any luck, this is going to be the year where this GNEMSDC community will gather again, preferably in person, so that we can reconnect with old friends and colleagues and hopefully make some new ones. So with that, we have today's theme. Together, we continue to rise. Great things have happened at GNEMSDC this past year, and we expect more of the same for the upcoming year. You'll hear about it all later in this meeting. I can tell you in all my years involved in supplier diversity, I've never heard about more corporations either growing their programs or starting new ones in recognition of the need for change. I can tell you GNEMSDC is perfectly positioned to help them move those programs forward and provide the support needed to help MBEs advance their businesses as well. We all know whether you've been at this for decades, for 20 years, or you just started this year, it doesn't really matter now. We're all here to try to do the same thing, and that's get MBEs contract ready and help them get contracts. I'm excited about the opportunities in front of us. I want to thank Peter Hurst, the GNEMSDC team, my fellow board members, and this whole community for helping us keep this mission alive. If we keep working at this together, we will make a difference. Thank you all for being a part of this journey. And with that, I'm going to send it back over to Peter.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you for your leadership. Leadership really does make a difference in everything, and it certainly has made a tremendous difference with the Greater New England Minority Supplier Development Council. I'd now like to welcome Sian Coglu, who is the CEO of the Panther Group. That's his day job, but his avocation, which he really does do a great job with, is he is the co-chair of the Minority Business Enterprise Input Committee, which is an important committee and liaison to the Greater New England Council. So Sian, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Peter, very much, and good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to echo Jim's sentiments wholeheartedly. I think we are doing great things and have a long runway ahead of us to do quite a bit more. Just an update on the overall, what we've been doing at the MBEIC. My co-chair, Ramon Peralta, is unable to join us today, so I'm kind of winging it alone. Overall, the MBEIC strategy remains the same. So our long-term strategy remains the same. However, we've changed our short-term tactics to reach our goals. The new tactics include, we're adding a monthly newsletter to launch in February. Which we're going to be marrying the GNEMSDC messaging and additional pertinent subject matter in coordination with Joanne and the corporate side of things, also including an MBE to MBE success story with Ramona's assistance and input in the newsletter. We're going to transition from a monthly to a quarterly meeting with major topics of discussion and interest to MBEs. This will allow for time to develop meeting content and adequately advertise the meetings. This we will do with Eliza's help. Additionally, there's an MSDC Leadership Virtual Conference for 2 days next week. I believe it's the 8th and 9th. We will then update MBEs on our network on national developments, trends, other pertinent information obtained through email correspondences, through our newsletter. This will happen throughout the year, the quarterly leadership meetings, and Ramon and I will communicate as much to MBEs as they occur. That's really all I have to report, and thank you.
Thank you, Sian, and thank you for all of your contributions, and thank you to Ramon as well. We really appreciate it. I'd like to take a few minutes to acknowledge and thank all of those who help us do the work we do. Organizations and individuals can't do anything alone. We're all interdependent and we all rely on other organizations, other institutions, other partners, and GNE is no different. I'd like to start by giving some well-deserved kudos to our executive committee. The executive committee is represented by Jim Lenahan, who's the board chair, by Suken Kolker, who is a treasurer. She's going to transition to be a vice chairman, by Ruth Johnson, who's a vice chairman, and by Sion Cogdo, who is a member of the executive committee. And as I indicated earlier, is also the co-chair of the MBEIC. Thank you to Jim, thank you to Suken, thank you to Ruth, and thank you to Sion. Your leadership is important. They meet on a monthly basis and they really do carry a very, very heavy load from this organization. As importantly, I'd like to thank the members of our hardworking board of directors. Our board is very diligent. They take governance seriously. They really do understand the importance of oversight in terms of financial matters, in terms of programming. And I really appreciate each and every one of them. Andres, Arvin, April, Sion, Mark, Ruth, Suken, Manette, Jim, Ramon, Inga Lee, Anthony, Joanne, Francisco, Dr. Ramesh, Mike, and Kate. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for all that you do to support minority business development. And because of you, I think the Greater New England Council is stronger than it's ever been. And your leadership and your commitment is appreciated not only by me, but our corporate members and by our certified minority-owned businesses. I'd next like to thank the folks who really do the work here. Folks often point to the president, and not to say I'm unimportant, but I could not do what I do without the day-to-day contributions of a very hardworking and dedicated staff. And our staff is really comprised of not only staff at the Greater New England Council, and let me just start by recognizing Harold Blackwell, who's our Director of MBE Growth and Development, Jose Colon, who's the Director of Finance and Administration. He's the guy that you don't want to owe money to because he's tough. Ramona Davis, who's our Director of MBE Certification. Eliza Ramirez, she's our Manager for Stakeholder Relations. And Joanne Wong, who's the Director of Corporate Services. In July of last year, we were awarded a 5-year grant by the Minority Business Development Agency to operate the Massachusetts MBDA Center, which, unlike the name suggests, is really a center that is providing services throughout New England. Michael Granger is our project director. Ira Santoso wears 2 hats. She's a program manager and a business consultant. And the newest member to the center team is Aurelia Chang, who's an administrative assistant. Please join me in thanking them for their contributions. And I want to let everyone know that I am blessed to have them as my colleagues. And GNE is also fortunate to have all of you as our partners. We have in New England 126 national and local corporate members, and we have 262 certified MBEs. So you are the tip of the spear in the work we do. And on behalf of the board of directors, on behalf of the staff, I want to say thank you. And we had great things occur in 2021, but 2022 is going to be even better. So I'd like to take a few minutes about and take these few minutes to share with you some of the things that we accomplished in 2021 and share with you what we intend to do in 2022. The framework for everything we do are the four pillars that guide our work: certify, connect, and the connections include three types. We connect our corporate members and our MBEs to facilitate commerce. We connect our corporate members with each other, and we connect MBEs with each other to facilitate commerce. The third thing that is probably the most important pillar for us is what we call development, and we'll talk a bit about that. And finally, advocacy. And these four pillars have defined our work and guided our work for years and will continue to do so in 2022. So let me just give you some background. In terms of certification, at December 31st, 2021, we had 262 certified MBEs. Those MBEs had 2.27 billion in aggregate revenue. We had MBEs in all 6 New England states. And as importantly, and maybe probably one of the most important contributions our MBEs make, they had over 32,000 employees, and 60% of those employees were people of color. In terms of connections, and I'm going to blend, what we did in 2021 with some of the things we're planning on doing in 2022. In terms of corporate to MBE, we continue our power networking events. These are in effect virtual matchmakers. We had 2 kinds of matchmakers in 2021. We had single corporations that were meeting with MBEs, and we had multiple corporations meeting with MBEs. And both of those formats were very successful. We had an incredible number of how to do business with our corporate members, webinars focused on that, which really made a big difference in terms of allowing our MBEs to understand exactly the best way to interact with our corporate members. And we had in 2021 a number of targeted introductions of our MBEs to our corporate members, which we have heard from both our corporate members and our MBEs that is probably more effective than the interactions that we've seen when we were in person at our Business Opportunity Conference and our award ceremony. Not to say that we will discontinue those, because we won't as soon as COVID allows us to do so, but these targeted introductions have been very, very effective. And in 2022, I want to announce today that we're going to have an in-person golf event this summer. We're going to do it in June, so it won't be too hot. And we will release information with details as soon as we're able to do so. In terms of the corporate to corporate connections, we've had a very regular cadence of corporate roundtable meetings. Those have worked very well in a virtual environment. And under the leadership of Joanne Wong, we introduced in 2021 several industry groups. Later on in our meeting today, Joanne is going to give us an update on those industry groups, but those have been very well received. And in terms of MBE to MBE commerce, we have not only had a lot of input and interaction with the MBIC, as Sion just indicated, but we've also made targeted introductions of our smaller MBEs, and I'm defining small as less than $1 million in revenue with our larger MBEs, because our larger MBEs are buying goods and services from someone, so why not buy from another MBE? And last year, we had our Minority Business Development Forum, which was conducted in partnership with the Boston Red Sox. And we also, just like we had with the corporates, we've had virtual matchmakers for MBE to MBE commerce. And in 2022, we are planning to have a multi-council powered networking session. So we will have MBEs from GNE and other councils looking to purchase goods and services from other MBEs in the network. So stay tuned. As I indicated, probably the most valuable thing we do is what we call MBE development. And we do this not only from the G&E side of the house, but also from the Minority Business Development Center side of the house. We provide all of the services that we call MBE development at no cost to the MBEs. And the services include business development services and capacity building services. And what does that mean? In terms of capacity building, we're talking about access to financial capital, senior debt, lines of credit and term loans, access to mezzanine capital, access to equity capital, and we provide intellectual capital from two platforms, one-on-one consulting and subject matter training. And we focused on 4 areas: financial management, strategic planning, marketing, and process improvement. And as I indicated, we really provide these services from both sides of the house. From the G&E side of the house, our business development activities focus on providing our MBEs with assistance in obtaining contracts from buyers in the private sector and the public sector. In the public sector, we're helping our MBEs, access federal, state, and local government opportunities, and also capacity building, which for us is one-on-one consulting and subject matter training. My colleague who I introduced earlier, Harold Blackwell, is the tip of the spear for that part of our programs. And Harold is not only a former and current entrepreneur, but he's also a former investment banker. So it's a lot of firepower there. What we are very excited about is in July of 2021, we were awarded a 5-year, $2 million grant from the Minority Business Development Agency to operate an MBDA business center. That center serves MBEs in all of the New England states, and the only filter is they have to have $500,000 in revenue. And the services provided by the center are provided to MBEs whether or not they're certified by G&E. Just like with the G&E side of the house, the center provides both business development services and capacity building services. And just like on the G&E side of the house, the MBDA Center provides all of the services that is in its arsenal at no cost to clients of the center. We have unprecedented firepower in terms of talent at the MBDA Center. Michael Granger is the project director. You're going to hear from him in a few minutes. He's an entrepreneur. He has a substantial background in corporate venture capital. And I first met Michael. He started a venture capital firm in Chicago that was one of the early firms focused on providing venture capital to minority businesses. So he's been at this a long time. He's a real expert in this space. And we recently were fortunate to add to the team Iris Santoso. She's dual hats, program manager and business consultant. She's got an extensive background in accounting, consulting, auditing, financial and business modeling and customer relations. She has worked with Michael before, and they make a very effective and productive team. And we're very excited at the work they're doing and the possibilities that they're going to generate for our MBEs to grow and prosper. The final thing we do is advocacy. G&E and the NMSDC are like 46 years old. And 46 years ago, the way we positioned our work in terms of why it was important was more of a social service, civil rights positioning. In other words, supplier diversity is something that was the right thing to do. And don't get me wrong, it is the right thing to do. But in 2022, I think that it's my opinion that folks respond to what's in their self-interest. And I want to just spend the next couple of minutes just sharing with you why minority business development is so important. And the reason it's important is that there's a racial wealth gap in this country. That gap is not anything subtle. the median net worth of a Black family in America is 13% of the median net worth of a white family. The median net worth of a Hispanic family is 19% of that of a white family. So not only does that look bad and sound bad, but it has real economic consequences, because wealth, or the lack thereof, affects a lot of things. It affects the quality of healthcare you receive. It affects where you live. It affects the type of schools your children can attend. It affects whether you can afford to buy a home. It affects the type of career you can have. It affects whether you can start and grow a business. And fundamentally, wealth, or the lack thereof, affects your spending power and the spending power of your family. And for all of us, that one central fact is critically important. And just to put it in sort of a broader context, the racial wealth gap is going to cost the US economy over the next several years between $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. Now that's real money. And that really is a drag on our economy, and a drag that we can do something about. Closer to home, last year, the Massachusetts Taxpayer Foundation did a report that suggested that the racial wealth gap would cost the Commonwealth of Massachusetts $25 billion over the next 5 years, and really affecting Black and Latino communities. Now, we don't have to, take the negative impact of the racial wealth gap without a fight. Minority business development is a very effective lever to reduce the racial wealth gap that exists in our country. And it also, we can use minority business development to make our community stronger. Our minority-owned businesses do several things that are very important. They generate economic output. They create and maintain jobs, especially with people of color. As I suggested earlier, our MBEs have 32,000 employees, and 60% of them are people of color. Minority businesses generate tax revenue, and the owners of these businesses represent a cadre of servant leaders in the communities in which their businesses are operating. And just to name drop, just the context, in all of America, there are 908,000 minority-owned businesses that have employees. Those 908,000 businesses have 1.1 trillion in revenue. They have 7.1 million in employees, and they have average revenues of 1.2 million. So that's not chump change, and those contributions are not insignificant. We did an impact study in 2019. At the time, we only had 200 minority-owned businesses we certified. Those 200 had a GDP contribution of $4.3 billion. They supported $1.9 billion in wages, and they supported 32,000 in jobs. So that is right here in New England with only 200 minority-owned businesses. So if you think about the impact of those who are not certified, as well as those who are, it is substantial. And finally, these are just a few of the examples of our certified MBEs who are not only running very successful businesses, but are also servant leaders. Donna Latson-Gittins, Anthony Samuels, Sion Cogdo, Ramon Peralta, Richard Taylor. There are many, many more, but I just wanted to recognize just a few of the successful minority-owned businesses we have. And I'd like to, end right now by sharing with you a video that talks a little bit about the work we do. But before I end, I want to just close with this one thought. My colleague in Michigan, Michelle Suri-Robertson, published a research report that said, at the current rate of spending with minority-owned businesses, it's going to take 333 years to reduce the racial wealth gap. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have that much time left. But the study she released also said that if we, and that's not just the private sector, but also the public sector. If we increase our spending with minority-owned businesses 5 to 6 times from current levels, we can reduce the time to get to equity from 330 years to 15 years. Now, I got a shot at making it another 15 years. So let's, ladies and gentlemen, as we walk out of this annual meeting in 2022, let's commit ourselves to not only have our corporate members spend more, but have the public sector, the federal government, the state government, all of the local governments spend more with minority-owned businesses. So with that, I'd like to just share with you a very quick video about what we do at GNE and why.
GNEMSDC wants to change the conversation about and the perception of minority-owned businesses. The universe of minority-owned businesses is not monolithic. While some minority-owned businesses are new, small, and struggling, many minority-owned businesses have size, scale, and financial strength based on revenue, cash flow, and jobs. Minority business development reduces the racial wealth gap and makes communities throughout New England stronger. With the oversight of our board of directors and the dedication of our committed staff, GNEMSDC's platforms, events, activities, and programs promote minority business development and economic inclusion. For over 45 years, GNEMSDC has been part of a national network that has added value to corporations' supply chains and increased opportunities for the minority business community. GNEMSDC certifies businesses as being minority-owned and controlled. We connect corporate partners with MBEs to facilitate commerce. We create pathways for smaller MBEs to grow by creating and promoting opportunities for them to sell their goods and services to larger MBEs. We provide our MBEs with development services that provide access to the levers of growth and success, including intellectual capital, one-on-one business consulting and subject matter training, and financial capital, debt and equity. These services are funded by annual sponsorships from our corporate partners and our MBEs, as well as grants from the New Haven Foundation and the Massachusetts Growth Capital Corporation. Our advocacy is focused on sharing data and information with leaders in the private and public sector, which support the wisdom of MBE development throughout New England. MBEs make communities stronger by generating economic output, creating and maintaining jobs, generating incremental tax revenue, and being servant leaders in the communities in which they do business. In 2019, Supplier.io prepared an economic impact report based on the contributions of 200 MBEs that have been certified by GNEMSDC. For several metrics, the study measured the economic impact of MBEs from 3 perspectives: direct contribution, indirect contribution, the goods and services that MBEs purchase from other firms, and the induced contribution, the spending by the employees of our MBEs and by the employees of the firms from whom our MBEs purchase goods and services. The cumulative impact of these 3 contributions proves that minority business development makes the New England economy stronger. Our MBEs have contributed to the economies in all of the states of New England, but the most substantial contributions have been in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. In terms of aggregate revenue, all of the ethnic groups represented by our MBEs are making a substantial contribution to the New England economy. Led by Board Chair James Linehan, the diligent and committed board of GNEMSDC oversees the strategic direction of GNEMSDC. The dedicated and talented staff of GNEMSDC is committed to creating more opportunities for MBEs to grow and prosper.
Somos GNEMSDC.
We are GNEMSDC.
We are GNEMSDC.
We are GNEMSDC.
We are GNEMSDC.
I'd like to welcome my colleague Harold Blackwell, who is our Director of MBE Growth and Development. Harold.
As the Director of MBE Growth and Development, I actually started this year, January 2002, and appreciate the conversations that Peter and Michael Granger had with me prior to coming on board. And we took the time to actually express how our focus on MBEs can actually help to accelerate many great things, also for GNE, but then also for the MBDA Boston Business Center. And with Peter's explanation and providing of the statistics, yes, it does seem like there's a long roadway and path towards achieving much, at least what we have to accomplish in the coming years. But I see that there's definitely opportunity to help our MBEs and as well as our corporate members. So I look forward to also engaging with all of our MBEs and corporate members throughout the year as we go on this journey together. And then in addition to that, looking forward to being able to provide our great services through GNE and also with MBDA, especially one-on-one consulting, because of the fact that then we're able to spend time together in terms of digging through and working out strategies and addressing any challenges that are on the horizon or are currently ongoing with our MBEs. Especially with COVID, or I should say in the age of COVID, capital has definitely been and always will continue to be a concern and issue for MBEs. And with that said, glad that we're able to provide and have access to capital and opening pathways for the MBEs of GNE and overall aggregately speaking. So with that said as well, because of the fact that we're able to offer and provide services at no cost, cash flow is basically always one of those things that are going to be a concern for businesses, and we are able to help assuage that because of our great member institutions and some of the grants that we've been awarded here at GNE to help with the capacity building services, the strategic advisory, and then also with regard to helping the businesses grow, build capacity, focus on organic and inorganic growth. So with that said, these are some of the pathways that I'm happy to be able to assist and provide help with for our MBEs. And then in addition to that, helping with respect to the things that GNE has always been doing and will continue to do. And also having the ability to work in conjunction with our fellow team members and friends over at MBDA. So I also wanted to, before I step off, I want to once again thank the board members. I want to thank Peter Hurst, and I also want to thank my fellow GNE team members and MBDA Boston Business Center members. And then in addition to that, looking forward to working and collaborating with our MBEs and also our corporate members. So once again, thank you so much. I appreciate all of the great work that GNE has done and definitely will continue to do. And with that said, I want to now introduce my colleague, Michael Granger.
I'm project director for the Massachusetts MBDA Business Center. The first thing I'd like to do is really commend the board of directors and Peter Hurst for putting this effort together. It's an amazing way of focusing the services of GNE MSDC onto minority businesses. So why do MBDs come to the center? Well, they come because they want access to capital and financial management. And we have the team to deliver on that promise. They also come because they want access to markets and contracts. And that's principally what the MBDA Business Center is created to do, because we match corporate needs with MBE goods and services, and if we can do that well, then our mission is just pretty much almost there in terms of completion. Access to global markets and exports. we do that in conjunction with our relationship with the MBDA, because the Commerce Department is the principal agency for trade, international trade. And we also provide access to strategic advisory services. Most MBEs are doing their day-to-day business and they're focused on that, but sometimes they need to step back and take the 30,000 feet look at the business. So they need to look at it broadly, and they need to take the long view. So we help them step back and take that view. So where are we and where have we been? Well, the grant was awarded, as Peter Hurst mentioned, in July of 2021. So we used the first quarter, the first quarter in operation, which was Q3 2021, to really organize ourselves, the staff, to put our systems and processes in place so that we could get going. So that being accomplished, we started intaking in the fourth quarter new clients. And you know, we've taken on over 60 clients served in the first 6 months of operation. And we've made significant inroads in connecting clients to corporate members, financing sources, and subject matter expertise. And we'd like to, you know, thank our corporate members for making it possible to connect some of our MBEs to them so that those MBEs can get some business done. So now that's where we've been. But where are we going here forward? Well, we're looking at putting $100 million worth of awarded contracts to our MBEs on the board in 2022. We're looking at financing over $50 million in capital raised in the form of debt, equity, and mezzanine financing. And we're looking at generating over 1,000 new jobs in that effort. And of course, we will continue to provide our strategic advisory services to help companies have those breakthroughs, both quantitative and qualitative breakthroughs in terms of where their business is going. And to do that, we have a great staff, as was mentioned earlier. My background, over 30 years of experience, being in a principal role in VC firms, you know, some of the big names, Cigna, Xerox, and launching my own private equity effort. Also, you know, co-led investments in technology companies in Silicon Valley and in the Boston area. And I've also had some very good international exposure doing international business. So I think the team is ready because I'm supported by some really strong people, in addition to the support that I get from GNEMSDC, from Peter Hurst and Harold Blackwell, and the rest of the team, and Joanne Wang. We have Ira Santoso, who brings a wide range of experience, a very strong financial management experience, a CFO type, also significant experience in business consulting that has already begun to make an impact in the short time Ira Santoso has been here, and Aurelia Chang, who brings project management and really the ability to help administer the program in such a way that we keep our eyes on the ball and we keep track of what we're trying to accomplish. And Aurelia Chang is keeping us on the right path. So with that, I really want to thank everyone for coming out to see us and to hear our story. We're excited about the future of the Massachusetts MBDA Business Center. And thank you for all the support that you've provided, and we look forward to working with you going forward.
Good morning. I'm Joanne Wong, Director of Corporate Services at the Greater New England Council. Thanks so much for taking the time to participate this morning in our annual meeting. So our corporate members, oftentimes you will hear us use the terms local national member, local corporate member, national corporate member, and really the main difference is who pay their dues to. All of our corporate members are headquartered in New England, and local corporate members pay their dues directly to GNEMSDC. National corporate members pay their dues to NMSDC as they have a national footprint and they're looking for access to the certified MBEs across the 23 regional councils. We have a variety of industries representing the local economies of New England. As you can see, there's banking to gaming to higher education to biotech to utilities. And we have seen pretty significant growth over the last 2 years. From 2019 to 2020, we saw an 8.6% growth in both local and national corporate members. Last year, from 2020 to 2021, we saw an 8.2% increase in local corporate members. And we brought on 19 new local corporate members to our organization. For national growth, we saw 8.1% growth, and we brought on 15 new members, 3 of which were previously local corporate members and decided to enhance their membership. So recruitment and retention of corporate members is critical to the success of GNEMSDC. And we are so pleased to see that we are continuing with this growth and are hopeful that we will continue with this trajectory in 2022. As of right now, we've already brought on 5 local corporate members: Babson College, UMass Amherst, Boston Planning and Development Agency, Wayside Publishing, and WGBH Educational Foundation. So as we are bringing in more in-person events in 2022, we are still planning to leverage technology and have a lot of our corporate programming held virtually to bring our stakeholders together. We will continue with the How to Do Business webinar series. Last year, we held 12. We are on track to hold about the same number this year with 3 already committed for the second quarter. If you've not yet subscribed to our newsletter, please do so as registrations are already up and running. And also our events page on our website has all of our information. We held 1 targeted powered networking event last year and hope that more corporate members take advantage of that this year. This is a corporate initiated matchmaking event where they come to us, ask for specific MBEs, providing certain products and services. We go back out with a list of those MBEs and they select who they're interested in having meetings with. We set up those meetings and they take it from there. We held 1 virtual matchmaker last year and we'll plan to hold at least 2 this year. Our matchmaking platform is able to connect corporate members and MBEs based on what the corporate member indicates they are looking to buy and what the MBE is selling. So last year's event created 52 meetings between 18 corporate members and 44 MBEs that signed up to participate. We've already begun our quarterly corporate roundtables. Those are scheduled throughout 2022 already. And these are great peer-to-peer networking meetings where corporate members can get together, talk about best practices, pain points, trends, and this is also led by a corporate member. Last year, we also created industry groups. We realized the need for specific industries to get together and have targeted conversations as some face more regulatory guidelines than others. So these meetings are held quarterly for 2022. They're already on the calendar with the first one occurring next week. And we currently have 5 industry groups: biotech, pharma, medical devices, financial services, healthcare, higher education, and retail and commerce. There's always the opportunity for more industry groups to be created. We just need a critical mass of corporate members and 1 corporate member to take the lead for that meeting. So new for 2022, we are offering mentoring. This will occur on 2 levels. We have corporate to MBE mentoring and corporate to corporate. So we've already kicked off our initial corporate to MBE mentorship conversations, and based on interest, we can add more partnerships throughout the year. With the influx of the additional corporate members over the last 2 years, we realized so many are at different levels in their supplier diversity journey. and supplier diversity programs are all at different maturity levels. So we are creating an informal corporate buddy program to connect a less experienced supplier diversity professional with a more experienced supplier diversity professional. We're also going to be creating more in-house resources for implementing and establishing supplier diversity programs, as well as subject matter webinars led by more seasoned supplier diversity professionals from established programs. So corporate engagement really is critical to not only maximizing your membership, but really ensuring that you are getting the networking needs, and also we are meeting the needs of your organization. If you have any suggestions or ideas for additional programming, please do feel free to reach out. We want to make sure that we are offering everything that you need for your organization to grow. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Ramona Davis.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ramona Davis. I am the Director of Certification, MBE Certifications. First and foremost, I want to thank my team members, Peter, for giving me an opportunity, and board members alike. So today I'm here to provide you with year-end 2021 year-end information regarding our certified MBEs. Okay, so to start, we have 4 categories of MBEs. We have, for categories 1 and 2, who are just starting out, we and have gained some traction as it relates to growing their business. So our annual revenues for these 2 categories are capped at 10 million in revenue. In these categories, they make up 82% of our certified MBEs and within our region. And combined, they make up 13% of their aggregate revenues for our region, which is a slight increase from the 2020 numbers. Categories 3 and 4 are geared towards MBEs who have surpassed the annual revenues of 10 million and above. MBEs that fall into these 2 categories make up approximately 18% of our certified MBEs within our region, and approximately 4% less of the annual aggregate revenues at 18%. I'm sorry, excuse me, 87%. In our next slide, I am basically going to just give you an overview of the our certified MBEs by their nationality or ethnicity. We have 31% of our certified MBEs, which are Black-owned businesses. And the aggregate revenues are about 15% of the overall number of MBEs. Our Asian, Indian, and Asian Pacific population are at 43% of our MBE, certified MBEs, and the combined revenues are at 47%. With 2021, certified Hispanic and Native American MBEs make up 25% of our clients, and they hold aggregate revenues of 38%. With 2021, being a challenging year, we've sustained our numbers for the most part with new certifications at approximately 47 we brought on board, and recertifications at approximately 200. We did have a slight decrease in our revenues due to some of our MBEs deciding or opting to move on from being certified in our region and or for various reasons. I do believe that our team that we have in place now is able, and we will push forward our agenda to ensure that we we make sure that we continue to sustain and surpass our previous numbers and certify more MBEs. That is my report.
Let me conclude today by thanking all of you for attending our 2022 annual meeting. Thanks again to our annual sponsors. Thank you to our corporate members. Thank you to our certified MBEs. Thank you to our board of directors. Thank you for the executive committee of the Greater New England Council, which is really the officers of GNE, and very special thanks to all of my colleagues, both at the Greater New England Council and the Massachusetts MBDA Center. We have done a lot, but there's a lot yet to do. So collectively, we all focus and stay committed and dedicated. We will make this country better. We will make this region better. So thank you and stay safe.